Thank you, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, council members. First, thank you all so much for your leadership in defending both our people and our local control from the attacks from our state government and our federal administration. So important what you've been doing. Keep doing it, and it's greatly appreciated. It's the right thing for our people, and it's the right thing for our economy. Unfortunately, it's a horrible contrast to the world of Trump and alternative facts that have been taken over around this issue of the convention center and our hot tax. I'm here on behalf of Save Our Springs Alliance to speak in favor of Agenda Item 60 and against, vehemently, Item 101. Just to be clear on Item 11 and to address some of the questions that have been asked first, this would move about $15 million from convention center allocations, and they got about $75 million of the $90 million this last year. It would take about $15 million over to historic preservation, music, and local business promotion. We haven't talked much about the $3.2 million for music and for $500,000 for local business promotion, but we shouldn't forget about that. That is additional money in tourism promotion. It's very critical. ACVB has wholly failed to market our live music or our local business. We need to fund this directly to the music community and the local business community from tourism promotions so it doesn't touch the 15% arts and cultures grant. That's critical. Then we've got the $11 million for the historic preservation fund to be allocated later for a range of important things. I just want to say right here, to me personally, the important stuff is mostly on the east side that we could miss out in saving right now. And at the top of that list for me is the Mantopolis Negro School and the historic Victory Grill. I'm really not that much interested in money for the Barton Springs Bathhouse or Visitor Center because none of that will save the water. It won't help prevent flooding in Onion Creek, prevent pollution of the springs, or provide us with important native species habitats. Unfortunately, the city manager in the bond package is only recommending $20 million for those critical needs, while you have before you in one-on-one of $230 million package for 34 acres of gold plating for the Waller Creek Park. Does that make sense? And I'll get back to the puzzle in a second. But on the first part, total of $15 million, you have the Convention Center Department sitting on, as of last year, $119 million in cash and cash equivalents straight out of your financial report. The most recent numbers you've been giving, a bunch of that is excess capital reserves and then $22 million in operating reserves. Why are we sitting on that money when we have urgent needs? Our musicians are leaving. They can't afford to live here. Our local businesses are going out of business because they can't afford to stay in business. Our venues are suffering. Our arts community is suffering. We need to spend that money now. And to say somehow that we're going to hurt our tourism industry if we don't just keep hoarding that money makes no sense at all. And that gets to the nub of this business. From the beginning, last year, a lot of the groups who were on board with the downtown puzzle were on board with the exact same deal last year before the Visitors Task Force even started. And they were on board with the misinformation that, unfortunately, Mayor, you sort of added fuel to the fire tonight by equating the convention center to our tourism industry. These are two different things. The facts are that the convention center has been consuming 85% of our tourism hot tax while generating 2% of our visitors. That is facts straight from the Convention Center Department. Now, it's also true that probably Convention Center visitors rent a few more hotel rooms than the other 90% of visitors. So maybe when you look at that lens, it's a little bit higher, but it's not much. And when I filed a public information request saying, show me your evidence that the Convention Center is actually generating a significantly higher percentage of hotel rooms rather than just the 2% of visitors, I got a single sheet of paper that said nothing. So if they've got evidence, they violated the Public Information Act because what they gave me does not support the thesis. Where's the business case? There's none. We're wasting 85% of our tourism dollars on a failing convention center business. It's failing for a simple reason. The whole industry is flat nationally. Last 15 years, it's only grown a total of 3%, while convention center space nationally has expanded by 40%. So you have everybody, it's a race to the bottom. They have to give away the space for free to get them to fill those rooms. And that's why we're losing money hand over fist. Now they said, oh, well, that's our model. We never meant to make any money. Well, the projections when we expanded in 98 were that, yeah, we'd lease $3 to $4 million a year, but not 24, 30, $50 million a year. But that's what we're doing, and that's what would happen, and we'd lock in with a convention center expansion. If you look at our competitors in the long-range master plan for the convention center, page 61, they compare us to 4 other convention centers: Denver, Nashville, San Diego. All of those are basically breaking even. We lost $24.3 million as reported last year by the convention center. And if you actually counted it honestly, because there's another $7 to $10 million over in the Convention and Visitors Bureau pocket, it would have been more of a $30 million or so loss. There's no due diligence here. Nobody has provided you with the background and the facts. And I think if the arts community, the music community, everybody else had the facts, they would see that we should be investing our tourism dollars in those people, those places, those activities that make visitors excited to come here and that make Austin a great place to live, and that we're losing rapidly. It's time to put our facts and our priorities where our mouths are and not delay any further. Thank you.
Hey, Bill. Bill, before you leave, I've been promising myself all day today that when you came up, I wouldn't ask you questions, but you called out my name, so I want to. And you know how much I respect you in so many ways in the battles that you have fought for the city. But I don't equate the convention center with tourism in this conversation.
That's what people heard tonight.
What I equate the convention center with is being able to access $15 million for arts and $15 million for historic preservation. And we never have to do a convention center. We never had to do this convention center. But if we didn't do those projects, then by law we wouldn't be able to access $15 million, up to $15 million for arts and up to $15 million for historic preservation. So the link is not convention center to tourist industry. It is the convention center. The legislature said, if you build a convention center, we'll let you get 30% of that money for arts and historic preservation. Now, if you don't do convention center, you can't get it. So that's the link that I made.
I fundamentally disagree. I think that's a misstatement of the law.
Okay. The other thing that you say in the letter, I think, is you say that, and that you've sent out, you say to people that we give 70 or 85% of the hot money to the convention center and only 15% or 30% to these other projects. And you ask the question, wouldn't it be nice if that was flipped? That, why don't we give 30% to a convention center and 70 or 85% to historic preservation and to the arts. And the reason that we can't do that is because the law is very specific in what you can do. And again, you said a moment ago that we differed on what that law was, but that split of 70-30, you used 85-15 in your note. It's 15 for arts and 15 for historic preservation. That split, that if we do a convention center, the most we can get is up to 30%. Unfortunately, if there was a way we could change that, boy, we would change that in a heartbeat. But we can't.
You don't have to change it. There's other categories that you're ignoring. Tourism promotion. We can give money to our film community, our arts community, our music community, our local business, this would happen, under the tourism promotion category.
Okay.
And not under either of those two limited. Tourism promotion is unlimited. We can do transportation that benefits tourists but also benefits locals. That's unlimited.
But you would agree with me that under Chapter 334, you can't access the money without doing a convention venue. And you would agree with me that under 351, we can't do it now without a convention center expansion.
No, we can put some money into the Travis County Expo Center.
That would be
and to me, that would be a priority over the convention center.
We have to do a venue in order. In other words, we can't say we want to spend all 70% in tourism promotion. Right. Because the law doesn't allow us to do that. It has to be built around a venue.
It allows us to use all of it up to the 7 cents. If we go above 7 cents, that's where you run into those restrictions where it has to be for the convention center or an expo center or a venue. But that term venue is incredibly broad, and we can do a range of really good things under that venue label that is not expanding the convention center downtown.
Thank you.